What's going on, guys? Zach, undergroundstrength.tv. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. Sit back and pay attention, kids, because I'm going to deliver the straight ass-kicking truth. This question is, same question, part 2, coming from David, and he's asking, why do the bodybuilders of today look fake and bloated compared to the bodybuilders, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, when back Arnold was lifting, the golden era? He goes, it seems like they used to look like real men. Now they're just, he goes, it's hard to put into words. They don't look proportional. How do they achieve all this muscle? They're ripped, but somehow they look bubbly looking. It doesn't even look strong to me. Rather than sculpted from granite, they look like they were inflated. It just doesn't seem right. I don't think steroids is the issue because Arnold used steroids, and he does not illustrate what I mean by a bubbly bodybuilder. What's the difference between the bodybuilders we're doing pre-1980s compared to now? Huge difference compared to what they do now back then. Back then, I think a lot of those guys took some real basic steroids. I'm not even sure the names of them, but it was all basic stuff that I'm pretty sure they were able to get from their doctor. Say, hey, I would like some, Diana Ball or whatever it was that they took, and they took some pills. I don't even know if they took any injectables, maybe a little bit. Maybe they took a little growth hormone. Now I'm going to tell you a story of when I was training as a teenager to compete in a bodybuilding show. And I remember a kid I was competing against, about 4 months out. He looked fat, and I was just destroying him with intensity. And I never took anything, and I remember saying to myself, I'm going to beat this guy. Nobody's going to outwork me. And I remember kind of leading up to the bodybuilding show, I think it was like 2 months out, all of a sudden, I saw that kid who used to be fat, chubby. He just looked like a fat, short football player who was just fat. He was training in the gym, and he had a tank top on, and he was fucking ripped and jacked and sculpted. And I remember a little bit before that, some of the guys in the gym said, yo, such and such is taking more shit than a racehorse. And I was like, I don't really know what that means. And then when I saw him with his tank top on, I said, oh shit, that's what the drugs could do. So I think today, and I know what you're saying because I see a lot of bodybuilders, not all. You see guys at like Metroflex Gym, they're training heavy, but not all bodybuilders do that. I have seen some monstrous bodybuilders who aren't lifting heavy. They're doing all pump-up weights. They're doing like bent over rows with like 135 pounds. They're, doing all rep work. I guess they just take so much. It's basically, somebody worded it this way, that today is chemical warfare. Now, here's my thing. Follow what those golden era bodybuilders did. Look at what Dave Draper always spoke about, and he openly says he took steroids. But he says, even when he got into his 50s, 60s, he had that granite look, and he followed the anabolic diet. Very high protein, very high in the healthy fats, low carbs. So he was eating lots of steak, lots of red meats throughout the day, whole eggs, breakfast and at night, and a lot of whole milk. And I always say, man, the way you eat it's like, it shows in your body, especially with me training a lot of these young athletes. I could see a kid who's brought up on processed food, mac and cheese, all this stuff in a box, chips. They look like a fucking potato chip versus a kid who maybe grew up on meat, vegetables, potatoes, whole milk. They have a completely different build, a completely different physique. Yes, genetics are certainly a factor, but the way you eat is crucial. So nowadays, it's chemical warfare. Back in the day, those guys were fucking strong. Look at the photos. There's a lot of guys benching 315, 405, dumbbell benching 150s, high volume training, T-bar rowing with 5-6 plates on it, bent over rows with 315, deadlifting 495, 500 plus. They earned it through that work, and yes, they took steroids, but you could tell that everybody was fucking built. They were jacked. As you said, looks like they were cut from granite. They were strong looking because they actually were strong. So my advice is, as Arnold says, and I train like this myself, train like those old school bodybuilders. That's how you want to train. Eat the way they did. Look at the outtakes from Pumping Iron when they go out to eat. They're eating omelets, steak. They're eating hamburger patties without the bread. These guys would have eggs and cottage cheese for breakfast. People don't do that shit anymore. Everybody wants the fads and the gimmicks. I really encourage people to go back and read Arnold's Encyclopedia, Arnold's Education of a Bodybuilder. Look at Pumping Iron, the outtakes. It's called Raw Iron. It's on YouTube, just like everything else is. Thanks to YouTube, nothing is sacred. But what's interesting about YouTube is they flag my videos because of the music in the background, yet there's like full fucking movies on YouTube. Come on, YouTubers. Fucking pathetic. Anyway, brother, that's the bottom line. It's chemical warfare. My thoughts? Fuck that shit. Earn it all on your own. Eat like a caveman, the caveman diet, the anabolic diet, whatever you want to call it, and fucking train hard. Free weights. Forget all the pansy pretty boy bullshit. I'm not a fan of the pretty boy bodybuilding. Props to them. You know, everybody chooses their own path. If that's what makes them happy, go for it. It's not what makes me happy. It sounds like it's not what makes you happy. So do your thing. And, you know, I'm pretty sure Arnold says it too. He's looking at the bodybuilders of today saying, what the fuck is this? Bottom line is, the bodybuilders from like the mid-80s and prior, the 70s, 60s, that stuff was awesome. Go on eBay, buy yourself a bunch of old strength and health magazines, and you will feel like, I'm back to reality. That's what it's about. Steak and eggs, squat, deadlift, power clean, farmer walk, sprint, natural. Click the like button, subscribe, hit the links below, lots of free stuff, and then opportunity for you. And like I always say, it might be free, but you will pay through the work, the dedication, and the time it takes to read and apply. There's no shortcuts here. That's the truth.